Hey, what's up? Thank you guys for coming to Alotta Hats Podcast. I'm your host, Christina Faith.
And your other host, a brilliant dummy.
A brilliant dummy.
Some people meet you and be like, a
Brilliant dummy.
Right, like I'm not a lollipop kid. I'm an
And
adult.
today we are going to talk about Tiara's favorite subject besides singleness, pay or play. This episode dives into social media's effects on the modern artist and if the need for marketing is getting in the way of our creativity. So, but first, tell me how you've been. We didn't do that the last couple times.
We haven't. I'm good.
What are you discovering about yourself?
Oh, a lot. I think I just found a therapist.
Hallelujah!
Finally. So I do like my initial
Did your initial
consultation.
consultation?
Yeah,
Okay.
I do that next week. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm just looking forward to that and all that will reveal and
Amen.
stuff. But yeah, I think I finally found a good one. Hopefully.
Amen. You know, take a couple times in times therapist. Hopefully you found a good one now.
I
Been through a
hope.
couple. But now I got a Tesla now. She's a Tesla. So I pray you find a Tesla, at least a Cadillac. Also, that's about it. That's all.
Or a
Tell
drop
us,
top
what's
is.
this little humidifier thing?
Oh, this
I'm
is
bringing
my
essential oils next time, guys.
Yeah, I sprung this on her, and we will be doing a health and wellness podcast in the future. But yeah, it's just just a little. It just brings me my little.
Brings you joy.
Yeah, I like it.
Because it ain't even coming near your face.
It's not because I'm trying not to mess stuff up
Let it
and
sit
get
under
too
you like you normally
start getting oily. So I'm just
Gotcha.
like, it's there, for you guys to just
There
see.
for your enjoyment and
We
your
have
pleasure.
clean air
Yes,
in here.
Clean air
Yeah.
in here. Hopefully ain't none of us got COVID. Praise
Yes.
God.
Oh, we're good. We're good. What have you been up to?
Child, I had 17 meetings last week. On Wednesday, I just stopped and I said, what did I do? I didn't fully look at my schedule when I was booking because it was, you know what it was? We were coming, so it was the second week since we've been back from break.
Right.
And so I took it easy the first week, but I didn't realize that I had doubled up on so many meetings.
Oh, wow.
And then I was doing this thing where I was letting people I have like a Calendly link where people can book 30 minutes with me.
Right.
And I just gave that link out a little bit too much. And as I'm on the phone, I'm like, first of all, I'm about to start charging y'all for this.
Right.
But then it's also Love You Right. Let me see when this.
Well, we got like 2 weeks.
Let me see. I hope not. I hope we got a little bit more time.
We got 2
okay, let's see. When this
weeks.
comes out, okay, so Love You Right comes out today. So Love You Right comes out February 9th. And so I'm really excited. It's a lot of work. And so this is really an interesting conversation to have. About creating and marketing and the necessity of it, because you can make something, and unless it's just for you on your home, you gotta market it.
Yeah.
And so, I've been doing a lot of that. I also, my one cool thing I can say is probably Robinhood. I'm moving from Robinhood to E-Trade. I learned how to do options.
Okay, we're going to have to talk about
So
that.
emotional doing options. But I'm learning, and I made some really big mistakes. I made some really big mistakes.
You didn't catch that, but it's okay. If y'all listen to our previous podcast, Christine's good with options.
I wasn't. That's why it had me on the floor crying to Jesus. Because I had too many options. I didn't want that option. I wanted what I wanted. But anyway.
Yo, we are a riot.
And so, so that's kind of like, I've been doing a lot of studying on stocks.
That's awesome.
And me and my little cousin, we've been going ham, making some mistakes, making some gains.
Now you talking about me with gadgets. What's going on over here? She got a whole teapot kettle warmer, y'all,
First of all,
on the
it's a
set.
cup.
And I didn't even see that over there.
Well, I need to send it back, though.
What? So what
it's
does
an ember.
it do?
This is an ember, and I didn't want to advertise them, but it's fine.
Okay.
Unless they're giving me some marketing dollars. So it's an ember, and what it does is it keeps your contents at a certain temperature. So
Wow.
I like my tea at 142, so my tea's at 142.
We drinking Bluetooth tea, y'all. 2021 is where the money resides.
Thank you. I had this in
The
2020.
money will be resided. Yes.
I have two at home. they sent me one for free, but
Oh wow,
that's a whole nother
charge
conversation.
and everything.
Yeah, it has
That
to charge,
is
but it's
cool.
not charging well recently. So, but they have really good customer service.
Okay.
So I'm gonna call them. I have to take some videos, reset it, and show them that it doesn't work. And if
Okay.
it doesn't work, they'll just send you a
To
new
do.
one.
That's not. Yeah, I've been really too lately getting caught up in like Amazon, must-haves and stuff, and so that's how I be finding little stuff. I found that face roller.
Yo, that face
On
roller
it.
has blessed my life. I was
See?
using it last night, and I was like, "This is so
Out here.
calming.
See?
Why can't it stay cold
Wow.
longer?"
And that's some of
so-
the power of social media, right?
Yeah,
We're
that was
exposed to
great.
all these different
It is,
products
yeah.
and shopping. It's good, and then we gonna talk about though what it really is today.
Well, okay, let me enter this conversation in saying social media is a wonderful servant but a terrible master. And so that's a quote that I got years ago when it was first coming out, because anything you have that produces endorphins and can create a euphoria can become addictive. And so, but also, Americans, especially Americans, and just our need for validation and affirmation. Yeah. So let's talk about.
I think before we could get into it, we gotta like really define like what it is and just like the origins of it, right? So in the past, yeah, we've had like MySpace and stuff, but like Facebook is really like the source of all that's like come out in the last 10 to 15 years with Instagram and YouTube. Like all of these other companies have come out in some type of way to compete with Facebook. And so man,
just ends
I
up
have
buying
just
them all.
been like diving into like Mark Zuckerberg. Is it
Child.
Zuckerberg or Zuckerberg?
Zuckerberg. You said it correct.
Yeah. And just like his track record and like how this thing started, right? And so I'm like looking, just digging stuff up, and I came across info like, so in high school is when he created like his first program. It was this program called Synapse, and its purpose was to like pick up and basically anticipate what people's music preferences would be, right? To create playlists and stuff. So he's always kind of just been like wanting to play on people, human behavior and stuff, even at a young age. And so then he goes to Harvard, right? And
he steals an idea.
right. But even before that, while at Harvard, like he hacked into their computer system, stole all the students, faced their pictures, and then created another online website called Face Smash, which like ranked everybody at Harvard like from hottest to like ugliest, basically.
So he's always had insecurities.
Yeah, that, and he's just been a hacker and a exploiter in some way. And so I think it's important to like know who's behind this stuff that we are now ingesting and participating in, and just like where social media is going, you know what I mean? And just looking at like social media, like Facebook's main tagline is like connectedness, right? So his whole thing is like, I just think the world should be like more connected and stuff. But like, as I'm thinking of that,
Data. It ain't got nothing to do with
yeah,
connectedness.
but even in saying that though, we have become more connected.
Yes.
But I'm
Without
starting
Facebook,
to think
without Facebook, certain things would never happen.
it wouldn't have.
Without
but,
social media and the internet, intranets,
Right.
and what's his name? Al Gore's intranets.
oh yeah,
we would not be as connected. We would not have such freedom to information.
right.
And so I think as we hate it, we have to understand that its technology has a lot of flaws, but the things that we gain from it outweigh those flaws often.
And I'm starting to differ on that, but even getting back to
You
the
would not be
connectedness.
you would not be who you are without it.
Well, we
You
don't
would
know.
not have-
I could be better. I could be
I
better.
don't- you
I
think-
think mentally a lot of us would be better.
Yeah, but you think you would? You think you
but
would?
what are you going to give up in that? And even in his connectedness, I'm even thinking of like, is that something that God is that going against God's plan, right? Because then I go back to like the Tower and Babelness and him scattering everybody and scattering our languages, but like we're not as scattered anymore.
The language still scattered.
When you can get a translator though, and you know what I mean? So even in that concept of like, oh, coming together, making the world smaller, is that really something that even God intended as we see social media unfold, and not just what it gives us on the surface, but like what's really going on behind the scenes? Because
so I think you're talking about two different things though. Because
with what?
God is the creator of all things, right?
Yeah.
So even this concept of connectingness that we
he's going to use it because Revelations talks about these things.
Yeah, but I'm saying based off of things happening, it's not the created thing that causes the creation to be bad. It's the creation that does it. So you're talking about should God connect us? That's one thing. But then you're talking about the next thing, which is the behind the scenes of what data collection is doing to our community.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I'm saying on the back end of things. But is our connectedness really fruitful? Is it something good?
Yes. I would not know you without the internet. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
As a person who has deeply benefited from relationships I've developed because of our connectedness, I can say yes.
Yeah. That's good.
How you use it and interact with it, that's a whole different thing.
But I think even in that we are and that's why I wanted to get into this first before we get into the marketing, because you see the effects of so much that it's not just a marketing app. Like a lot of us are addicted to this thing where not just the phones itself, it has a pull on us in such a like crazy way that we really got to start to reevaluate this thing and how, you know what I mean? Like how it's really used in our lives, not just like, oh, I'm just sharing my art, I'm meeting people. Yeah, it has these good things, but like overall, is it really like beneficial and helping us in the long run? And my computer just like totally went out. Okay. So I might have to look at your notes. Oh. My charger ghetto, y'all. You know when stuff be shortened out and all that. It's, you know, you just need ghetto something. So yeah, she gonna try to get my notes back up.
Here, you can use that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think why don't you put that screen down now?
We alright. Alright, so wait, what was we I'm sorry.
I don't know, were you
I lost my track. Yeah, I'm on a rant. I lost my track. I mean, I was really just trying to get like what's going on.
Okay,
what it is.
They're trash.
Yeah.
They are stealing our data.
Yeah.
And using our data to manipulate us.
Right.
Right.
In a major way of like, these companies are definitely like manipulated and just exploiting like human behavior and what our next move is. Like they know us better than we know ourselves, you know, and a lot. And that is,
you can also turn all that stuff off, but that's a whole nother thing.
Right. And we'll get into that, of like, how do we take some of that autonomy back and just that freedom to say like, you know, not just
I think we should own our data.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue.
I think you keep it to begin with by even like what we share. And I mean, I'm looking stuff up. Like Facebook has a patent that can analyze someone's or interpret their expression as they're scrolling down their feeds. Like whether you're happy, whether you're bored, whether you're surprised and stuff. Now they claim that they're not going to use it, but it's just like, you know what I mean? Yeah. So they have like all these weird. You can look this stuff up. Like NY Times, I think, did an article where they had like the 7 creepiest patents that Facebook has. You know, like they could track like how you're sleeping and like all these other stuff that's like underlying. Because it's like, when it started, it was this network. Like you had to be in college to have Facebook. You had to have a legit college email in order to come in, and like now where it's a whole security background check like system. Like there are certain apps or services that you cannot get or log into if you don't have a Facebook account. You know what I mean? So
that one.
Yeah, there's this app. No, there's this app I use. It's called Get Around. So when I'm in LA, I don't have a car out there. And so I use this app, and you can like scan different cars in your area and you can just like pick it up and rent it. But you cannot get an account if you can't log into a Facebook account.
So I have a question. You bring up a very interesting point. Would you be able to not have a car in LA if it wasn't for the internets and these apps?
Not have a car? I mean, I had to find another way.
You be still rental.
Yeah, but
and
it's still another way.
Yes, but you have to understand a lot of these advancements that we have. Though we hate Facebook, right? I hate them. I'm not gonna. Yeah.
And that's another thing too, because they've weaved this stuff so much into our lives that then it becomes, well, I need this just to do day-to-day stuff, right? Like we were just having this conversation with friends last night. How did we get around before like GPS and stuff? When we were little and we had MapQuest, we would have to print stuff out. But it's like, think of how dependent, we are on this stuff, that if GPS was to go down, like how would we know how to get around? And so, and that's even the issue too, where this stuff is so ingrained into our everyday lives of society that like, if the internet or you can't get a Wi-Fi connection, it's like, then what? You have no skills or even wherewithal to like know what to do next. You know what I mean? Because we're so dependent on these things.
So is that dependence because of the apps or because of our behaviors towards the apps?
I think both. I think part of it is our responsibility of scaling back, recognizing that like, there are some major issues with us being addicted and so heavily dependent on these things that subconsciously we don't even know. Like, because like I said, it started out, I'm connecting with my friends, and along the way now psychologically, I mean, it's literally changing how we interact with people, our emotions. Like if somebody doesn't like something, or like I've seen people get mad because somebody commented a one like word emoji instead of like this whole paragraph admiring them. You know what I mean? Like little stuff like that along the way is just that subtle manipulation till we look up and like all these other issues have rose out of it. You know what I mean? And so I think, there has to be a responsibility on our part to be like, I need to rethink the way I'm using this thing and how it's in my life, and not just chalking it up to be like, well, they got our information anyway. It's a part of life. There's nothing you can do about it. But it is.
You can come off of it.
Yeah. Even if you had to go to, live in an Amish life, like you said, if you got to go to Enterprise and pay a little bit more because some of these other apps are cheaper, then like do that. You know what I mean?
So is that a life that you're gonna live?
In some ways, yeah. Like I deleted my Facebook account. It's probably been like 3 years, and I like permanently deleted it. And so like I mainly use Instagram, but they're owned by them. So even other little apps, like I've gradually taken steps to unplug myself offline, and we'll even get into like I don't even post as much on my Instagram like main feeds and stuff, because it's just like it had this hold on me where I'm like, man, feeling this need to constantly posting, and that's why we even titled this like play or pay, because it's like you're either going to play the game right by posting and then rewarding you.
You can't do pay or play. You have to pay and play.
Yeah, or you don't have to do either.
Well, I think or you don't have to do either is a conversation of privilege in some ways.
How so?
Right, because I'll take Love You Right for example. How I'm going to market it?
You can get
what
TV ads or billboards and take out ads.
So that's a matter of privilege still.
Yeah,
right. Because who got $2 million for a billboard?
But there are other ways, and I'm not. And that's the thing.
And hold on, Tiara. In the pandemic, tell me, give me some ideas.
I'm gonna find some. I'm gonna find another.
Find
way
me some.
For you.
Find me
I'm gonna
some
find
ways.
another way for you. And
because
that's the thing. That's
because
something.
how are you even finding the shows that you like, right? It's word of mouth through these apps, right? But how you use them is based on how you use them and how you interact with them. Hopefully, people start teaching their kids is based on you.
Yeah,
because I don't follow like 2,000 people just so I can fix my algorithm.
Right. But is that like still fixing? And that's the thing where it's like it's not.
But
I'm not just about marketing, I would be like, okay, and there are some businesses who that's another main way of marketing if you have a product or something to sell, but it's so much more than that. You know what I mean? Like I think that's the thing with me that I'm realizing that it's more than the marketing. It's what it's doing to us mentally, and all these other facets. I'm like, is this really worth it though? You know what I mean?
I think
like,
for some people it is, and for some people it's not.
Yeah.
Right. I think some people, I know people that are, they just completely off the grid. Right?
Right.
That's the life they live. They have the privilege to do that. I don't think everybody has the privilege. I don't think small businesses have that privilege, right? I don't think entrepreneurs who are growing up and trying to figure this out have the privilege not to engage in social media.
I think, but I also don't think, because there are a lot of artists that are not even on social media
But
and
they
still
on the
have
SoundCloud,
great.
but they
But they have great
iTunes,
careers.
They on the
I mean, what
Spotify.
about photographers?
Well, even the ones that have great careers, they came off after they blew up online. Who? Names them out.
Nah, I know people like, who is it? I think like Raj Walker. He's the photographer that did Solange wedding. That did well.
Yeah, but that did Solange wedding. I'm
but
talking
he never had an Instagram.
But
he wasn't online anywhere.
But
now you can have a website. You can push people off of there.
But who was he working with before he worked with Solange?
I don't know, but he had to be working with somebody to get to Solange.
But that's what I'm saying. That's still a privilege, right? That's a privilege that you're already in this industry and you're already doing these things and you're connected.
Right.
And
but
so,
he didn't need social media necessarily.
No, because
to
he was
propel
already
him in
connected.
that. Right.
Right.
Well, I mean,
so there are those who are the outliers who don't have it, but the majority of the people who get discovered now are discovered through social media. And even the way that, he did Solange, but Solange's thing spread because of social media. Because who's watching BET now? Right? So though it has very negative effects, they have moved away from the ways in which they used to spread it before. Yeah. Right? And so we wouldn't know about some things. Right? My aunt's not on social media. It's fine for some people though, but that's what I'm saying. You're saying very flippantly, it's fine. For you, it is.
For me.
But for the average artist, it's not. I could take somebody like Chuck Styles, right, who benefits greatly from his stuff moving, or BB Sketch, who benefits greatly for their stuff moving around the internet, right? And so some people have the privilege to say, I'm going to disengage because this isn't good for me, while others say, I need to engage. But
why do you keep calling it a privilege?
I think
How is it a privilege?
I think both are a privilege. They're both privileges.
Define privilege.
What you mean? You got a phone, right?
Yeah.
You got internet?
Yeah.
That's a privilege.
But then somebody still having access to that, but then not choosing, how is that a privilege?
It's still a privilege because they have another way to do it. That's a privilege.
I don't know. I gotta let that marinate.
A kid in Africa who don't have social media or who doesn't have any. Okay, we'll take the kids in Africa, right? Because they be killing it online. Right? And they take their little phone that they got, whatever they got, and they figure out how to recreate these trailers. Without the internet, we would never know them. Because they have the privilege, which is a privilege, of someone in their community being able to upload that to the internet so that it can circulate. So now brands are sending them product to create.
Right. But if we didn't know them and we didn't see that, would that still diminish what could the opportunities that can happen, or even their success? Because I think a lot of that we wouldn't tie,
but we wouldn't know them.
But
Tiara, Tiara, how?
But they would still be creating though. But
they'll be creating.
Why do
but
they have to know everything, or see everything, or be exposed to everything?
But they for example,
what does that mean?
But Tiara, for example, they wouldn't have the resources they now have.
We don't know that.
We do know that.
But we don't know
we have
that,
an entire.
I don't think
we have
can say
entire
that.
continents.
Because I mean, how were people doing things even before, you know what I mean, social media came? Yeah, this is something new that's in the fabric of our lives, and we like,
before
okay,
they
we
had
adjust.
street teams.
Right, but then,
which is still a privilege.
And we didn't see that. But I don't, and I'm just trying to say it doesn't diminish someone's, I don't think someone's success or whether they can be successful can relegate to whether or not you're able to be seen online. And I think that's one of the things that is affecting artists, because we're not so fixated, we're not so like in love with just the process of being able to create because we can. It's the aftermath that brings the frustration and this tiredness and this burnout of like, well, people are not liking it, they're not sharing it, they're not viewing it.
I think
you know what I mean?
Two separate issues though. There's the psychological aspect of the endorphins that you get from liking.
It's
right?
tied,
which is why they're able to do what they do.
Right.
Or are you so you're just gonna create? But where are you distributing it at? So tell me, if you're not online, where's the distribution?
There's museums. There are still what you got Sundance and you got film festivals and stuff. Like, there are other ways now, but
do you know how hard?
But it's still a way. It's still a way. But this is the thing.
Actually,
whether 2 people or 5,000 people see it, it's still a way.
Yeah, but see, okay.
Because you're talking about now you're opening up to quantity that, like, okay, just posting it online will allow more people to see it. But it doesn't stop
not even
people
more
from seeing it.
I think you just named museums and stuff like that, right? That people do the museums, and how does that work spread? They go online and share it. Most of them, the majority, right? Sundance, you're not getting into a Sundance unless you have an A-list or an A-list actor or an A-list producer somewhere. And you're really not getting in there if you don't have any opportunity of social media, anything. The first thing that people ask when you go into a room as an actor, before you even getting there, is what's your social media following? Mm-hmm. What I think the issue that you're taking with is that people are now depending too much on that. But I think when we think about how things have changed and marketing models have changed, they don't put any money into marketing, right? To tell, there are some actors who just, Denzel don't need no Instagram.
So does, like, every film festival require you to have, like, this large social media following and stuff to be able to have access to their resources? Social
media or people, most of them. Anyone that can that can get your film seen. And I done spent $1,500 just on festivals to get into 2, to get 10, 15, 20 eyes. Mm. So I think the issue that becomes is you can hate it, but unfortunately the world is now dependent on it, which is a problem. But at the same time, I can tell you, for example, my brother, and he'll tell you, because he done did the brick and mortar and did the street team, almost lost the business. Social media literally changed his business.
He did tell me
he
that.
went from barely making $2,000-$3,000 a month with the brick and mortar, with the street team, with everybody, with hand to hand, to now, he's 6 figures because of social media. And so, he was really, for example, let's get to the pay and play, right? He was really, he was a little upset, right? Because he was getting a lot of play, right? He was posting and people was liking it. His numbers were up. Instagram caught on. Hold on. He's getting way too much play without paying for it. And so now, in order for him to move, he realized, hold on, I need to spend $100 a day on ads. But that's no different than the ad revenue you would spend on a TV commercial that doesn't convert at all. Yeah. So a lot of it is conversion. And I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. I have a distribution deal, but it don't come with no marketing. So am I going to get a billboard? No, I'm going to figure out how to pay, I'm going to figure out how to pay more for social media ads. Do they always convert? No. But is this the easiest way to get to people? Yes. Tiara, show me another way. We can't even go in buildings. I'm not saying another way,
but you said a key word. It's the easiest. And that's fine. I'm not saying that social media, you don't get hits when it comes to, like, a business. Because we're in that field, but, like, everybody on there is not using it for this particular, like, this is a particular niche in marketing, because you got people who are paying and boosting to just show you their life, and they're not offering any type of product or service. You know what I mean? That's an issue in that,
But I think, but people are now thinking of themselves as brands.
Right, which is, and that's the thing. When I say its effect on the artist, because I feel like we're marketers now, right? We have become marketers and not just, like, creatives.
We should have always been marketers, because you make something and what happens with it? You just making it just to make it?
Some things you do,
and I think that's cool. Okay, and I think that's fine. But if you have to make a living off of it, that's not okay. And that's why, but that's also why most creatives don't know what to do with their project once it's done.
No, well, yeah, a lot don't even put the project out because of that. Because they don't have a rollout, or because they don't have, the whole marketing shindig. I think it's so many artists who keep stuff on the shelf because of that. You know what I mean? Because of the aftermath of like, well, who's going to see? You know what I mean? I don't got this rollout, and it's just like,
well, roll it
post
out.
it. Yeah, but rolling it out is just
post
sharing
it.
If you go post, you know, and that was one of the issues of like in my own social media journey. I went from like just having 500 followers to being featured from Instagram, and then going to 50,000 within like 2 weeks. And this was back in like when social media was still 1-to-1 and all the robots and all that stuff wasn't even a thing. And so I was having real people comment, and now you trying to keep up. And so this whole world just rushed in that I wasn't even expecting.
But did you feel the need to keep up?
I did.
Why?
I definitely did, because now it's like, oh, I got this audience. People are coming to my page. Like, they love the colors. And I was like driving around trying to find every color wall in Philly.
You did
know
find
what I mean?
them,
I did find them. And then, and so for a while, it's just like, all right, I gotta keep posting, because it wasn't my intent to gain followers. And I think obviously when things first started out, we were just posting pictures to post, you know, and now we got all these sponsored and paid posts, all this stuff that came as a result. And I think after, when that trend started coming, then you had people coming in like, oh, I just want followers, you know, I'm a brand now, instead of just like, so when people were like, well, how'd you get there? And I'm like, I wasn't trying to. You know, girl, be careful. Stop.
Need more heat.
Y'all,
we recording, ain't no heat in here.
Yeah. And so like people were coming to me like, well, how'd you get all these followers? How you built this aesthetic? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I wasn't trying to do that.
I think we're talking about a few different things. We're talking about the evils of the companies that are housing these platforms.
Yeah.
Talking about their data mining.
Yeah.
Right? Talking about the psychological issues that people have with being addicted to their phones and their devices and their apps, right? And then we're also talking about the need and the desire to keep up once you get it.
Right.
But we're also talking about creatives for example, you having this and wanting to keep up, but also wanting not to keep up.
Right.
And so I think in those things, it all really boils down to choices. Yeah. Right? And having enough maturity and wisdom, or growing into enough maturity and wisdom to realize I don't have to keep up.
Yeah.
Right? Because people like, I don't have a lot of followers, right? I just be me. I'm a post, and if I got something coming up, you're going to see me posting more.
Right.
Because I know the game, right? So I'll play in order to say, hey, for example, you know, I'm not a person that's posting every 5 seconds. I post on my stories because I just like it. Right. I want people to experience what I'm experiencing. But I think some people do it because they want more from something.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
And I think that's where the companies are able to tap in, right? To tap into those insecurities and those vulnerabilities of humans, right? And so oftentimes we blame, for example, the money, right? Money is the root of all evil. No, the love of money is the root of all evil. So these platforms are only doing what we allow them to do.
Right.
And so I think the privilege of you as a creative, I don't have the privilege just to create what I want to create, right? I think we've talked about this before. I can create whatever I want, but I also know that I've made a commitment to people who are working with me that we're gonna create what we want, and we're gonna get somewhere while doing that, right? Because we don't want to work full-time jobs the rest of our lives, right? And so the artist has to, and I think Toni Morrison and James Baldwin have a great conversation on this. Toni Morrison, Maya Angelou, and James Baldwin have a good conversation on this. The artist has to create regardless of the audience, right? And so, but at the same time, the artist has to create, and if they want to make money off of it, they have to learn how to be marketers, because otherwise you will then become a slave to the record label, to the studios, to the ad agency, because you're going to make it, but then they're going to be able to control it because they're going to distribute it for you, right? And so I think I think for people who have such a problem with social media, they should get off, right? Follow your own heart and your own intent, right? And be intentional about what gives you anxiety. It gives my husband anxiety, and I'd be like, oh well, it don't give me no anxiety. It doesn't do anything for me, right? I scroll, but when I'm scrolling, I'm only adding people that I really, not necessarily I want to be connected to, but people I want to learn from, right? And so I think in in using it, you have to realize why you're using it.
Right.
And not, you know, and let people post their pictures and sponsor
I'm not
stuff.
saying
like,
I mean,
that's
that's
their thing.
fine.
Let them waste their money.
But I mean, even what you just said, yeah, it's created these platforms where we know we have an audience. You know what I mean? And I think like wherever, there's an audience, people perform, and so we're so just geared to performing all the time. That, you know, same in the purpose episode, like when you know you could be in the zone and then become this lost soul because it's just like, oh, I gotta get the fuck, you know. And so I don't want people to feel like if you don't have all these followers, you're not getting all these views, you're not still putting meaningful things out into the world, even if one person sees it, if it's meant for that one, or if you don't share it online at all and you share it with your community in other ways, you know what I mean? Because there are certain creatures that we can't even see with the human eye that God still designed, you know, just to design because he can. And so I'm just saying, like, don't let this thing rule you. And it is hard when dopamine and all these other factors are going behind it, that it makes it hard to just separate, oh, well, I'm only on here for marketing, when it's like, but it's so many, even if we don't realize, because it's like the goal of these apps is the longer they can keep you in, they're making money.
Yeah.
You know, so even if you're just scrolling to like learn about people or looking at that, like, it's still good because it's making them money and it's just keeping you in, you know what I mean? And so it's just like, it's a lot more, you know. It's just like a lot more than just the marketing aspect.
But I also don't want to demonize it at the same time. I want to demonize the companies and what they're doing, right? But I want to be very careful because I know what it has opened up for an entire world and community of people that didn't have access. And access is impossible. Right? It's almost like you and I'm going to tell you, you can't get in the rooms because they don't want you in the rooms. Because when you go in the rooms, you take something away from them in their minds, especially as a black person, right? And so I think for some people, they have the opportunity and the privilege to back away, but others don't have that. I don't have that. I can run a Love You Right account, but... Where the eyes?
Somebody running it,
Who's,
I mean,
what?
Yeah, it's it's just
it's
interesting. It definitely is, and you know, just.
But some people can come off.
Goes,
and come off if you need to come off. Like Show Baraka come off all the time. This brother, he back on. He gonna be off in a couple weeks because
I definitely scale back.
If inwardly you can't do it, don't. Like I come off. I delete the app. I be like. And I tell people don't send me nothing. Like, you know, I'm posting, but I'm deleting it after I post. Because sometimes you don't have self-restraint because you just
you're just on it, and it's like, I mean, when I'm looking at like certain, and a lot of these CEOs and even like one of the founding executives of Facebook don't even have this thing. Like they won't allow their children to have it, you know, because it's just like, man. To some degree, I think like we're all being deceived about something in our lives in one way, shape, or another. And it's like we're in this Oz experience where, we get the upfront of things and the marketing and the connecting with friends. But then it's like the behind the scenes, like when the veil of something is open and you're just like, wait, you're running this behind this? Wait, this is what this is really doing and conditioning and you know what I mean?
Well, it's like conspiracies. Where do you think they come from? You think people just come up with them? No, Russia got a whole data mine. In the first place, in the first place that they spread it to is the white evangelical Christians, or just Christians, period. Because we're so gullible to conspiracies. We're very gullible to conspiracies, and so because we, I can almost tell you exactly what movie even some of your thought process came from. And how we're being controlled, right? That's a concept that happened in a movie that we exposed to, and now we're like, oh, we're all being controlled. Enemy of the State. Is it real?
Oh, I never saw it.
Yeah, it's very real, right? Enemy of the State is a movie about it was really about how the government can hear everything, right? It's very real, right? But I think even in that you have to recognize the sovereignty of God. But I think you need to follow what what your heart is saying. If this is too much, come off.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
a drug. Come off. But if you don't have that
addiction.
privilege to come off, because some people, this is their job. Like, this is how they make their finances,
some
right?
people do.
The amount of jobs that have been created from social media is ridiculous, right? The way that, the stock market works now, where so many people are now able to buy them in increments, is because of social media. So there's so many different things that have changed because of it, but then also things that we have removed because of it.
Right.
So these devices are great. I'm a techie. So since birth, I was a techie, right? So I can look at something and I'll be like, I'm good. All right, how I turn that off? Yep.
Right.
You talking to
To
Amazon
have.
pop up? That's because you got a setting on and you actually can control stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And so people don't necessarily take those extra steps to figure out how to control what they're being fed.
Or do,
Like, I was looking at something and I'm like, hold on, why my time hot? Why that's popping up? All right, you have access to my Grailed and my Macari. I have to get rid of that because I don't want to see these photos that I just looked at. Like, I don't need you to show me these again.
Right.
I know, and so that's like one of the only apps that I realized did it. That now I gotta go into settings and change it.
Oh wow!
And so I think the artist has to take back their artistic, creative desire and stop creating. Well, some people can, some people can't.
Can't what?
Stop. Some people can stop creating for the audience. Some people you're creating for an audience.
But should that be your motivation though?
Depends on what your goal is.
Yeah,
You do art for therapeutic reasons.
Right.
Others do art because this is their job.
I mean, but it's still my job. Like this
But
is.
you don't run. For example, I've freelanced at agencies, right? That this is all they do. They have little creative stuff that they do on the side, but they do whatever their client at that time says.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, 365 days in a year, right? You don't run like that, right? I don't run like that. I pick and choose which clients I want to work with, right? Everyone doesn't have that. That's a privilege, right? It's a privilege for me because I work multiple things, so I don't have to take everything.
Yeah.
But I remember for a season that I had to take everything. It's like, ugh, I don't want to work with you, but I need to pay my bills, right? And so that's when I say it's a privilege, right? But we have to realize all of it is a privilege. Us speaking openly is a privilege.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Right?
And
Us
you have to
recording these little things and we're going to put them out on these little platforms that are a result of social media.
Right. And you do, I'm not diminishing the fruit and reaching people and connecting. I'm just advocating to just be self-aware.
I think we need to be very self-aware. I completely agree.
Just the totality of what's going on. And to a degree of like, especially for artists, is like, the marketing is a part of it. So even before social media, it's a part of it. But I think we just need to balance, like we do everything in life. There still needs to be like, you need to know when like, okay, this is a project, we need to promote it, do whatever, have that budget, but then like also, hey, I just need to create and fall in love with that creating process again. And I think we can just produce so much more amazing things when we come from that motive of like, this is something that has really helped me or you know what I mean? Like I love this process of it and I'm sharing it with you guys, you know what I mean? And then I think a lot of opportunities can still come from that.
Yeah, no, I think I want to validate what you're saying, but I think sometimes, like, I would love for everybody just to make media they love, like films they love. Yeah, I would love that, but that's not everyone's opportunity.
Yeah, or I mean, I think it is. You just have to, like you said, there are some projects that you and your team do that say, hey, we just going to do this for the love of it. And then there are projects where, hey, we just got to
pay the bills,
make the money and make the bills. You can have that balance. I just think that balance is skewed to where everything's about the bag, everything's about the
well,
views.
we're a capitalistic society
where it's like, hey, just scale back, recognize how this thing is making you feel. If you need to pull back, and also don't don't be afraid of pulling back of like, oh, you're going to miss out. You're not going to get opportunities. Because I could tell you firsthand, I've been on that side where I'm posting and I'm getting companies coming in jobs. I've also stopped posting and I still get jobs and I still get brands that reach out. And so
but that's also
me posting doesn't, I don't have. You
don't have to post, but you have to acknowledge that you posted before you now have a reputation.
I do, right. I mean, so if you can do that and you can bounce.
Well, and some people, like once you built it, some people can.
But I'm just saying you don't have to feel.
That's like building a stadium. That's like building a stadium, and then not promoting that you got a stadium to fill the game.
Well, I'm not promoting my stadium, but I still get games because God is good.
And God is good, but it's not everyone's privilege.
Yeah, I get that, but I think I'm more so. I don't. It just kind of like hurts me to see other artists like, so fixated on
hoeing themselves out.
Yeah, the other that they lose.
Well, because they don't have purpose.
Sharing,
they don't have purpose. The purpose is I want to entertain these folks.
Right, that's the end goal, and it's just like, especially when I see people who hold back and just stop because of the views, and I'm like, man, you are so gifted. Like, why? That really hurts me, and I think I see that more. So that's why I'm like, y'all, don't let this thing.
And I think that is a sounding board that we need.
Don't let this thing stop you, please. Like. Post it,
share it, like,
text it to your friends, even if you know what I mean.
Well, I think some of it is perfection, though.
Yeah,
I think a big portion is people wanting to be perfect. You got to be right when I put it out because I don't want to be judged and I want people to like it. And I tell people I don't care. I put out. Listen, let me tell you, I put out stuff that is not perfect all the time. Yeah. And people say some really stupid, dumb, whack stuff to me, and they don't. I got people who don't like me, don't like the stuff that I make, think it could be better, think that it is what it is. It is. But one thing they can say is I'm gonna put it out regardless.
To do. And I think some artists too, they create with artists in mind and not the common person in mind. Yeah. And that's an issue too, because you're looking for the critique, and it's like people who are who are touched by your films and stuff. How many people have been like, oh my gosh, your coloring was like just made me cry? You could be honest. They're probably, were they just regular common people or were they artists?
No, common people have said, oh my God, like what y'all. No, because you don't, like, here's the thing. Because everything is so global now, the expectation is higher for everything now. Oh. So when they look at, I'm an indie. We indie. Mm-hmm. But then when they look at it, they expect Netflix, right? And so people will say, oh my gosh, your growth from here to here, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right? They'll see that. Reasonable. Or they'll say, yo, your coloring in this last joint, that joint was crazy. Right, but it does matter, and so
the presentation matters.
It matters more. It matters more than I would like to admit.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get at, like, I think it's the storytelling, the way things make people
Blair Witch tells you
that even is going to keep them coming back and just being touched by the things you and I put out. How just how we make people feel in that. The average person is not like, oh, this is all centered, or that font didn't, you know what I mean? They're like, oh man, like,
no, the average person
she just said.
The average person is critical, and so I think
people.
Twitter exists for a reason, and these are the average people. Yeah. Black Twitter they tell you like more. They be like, Black Twitter tell you more than you want to know. Yeah, right. But because I think yes, the story matters. What you create matters, right? But once you put it in the world, it is what it is.
Yeah, and you gotta let that go.
And you gotta just let it go and celebrate it for 24 hours and go start making the next one.
Yeah, yeah. And once it's out there in the world, it's out there.
Yeah, I don't care.
But just
I would love if I could just make something like back in the day, and then get street teams together.
Can, though.
No,
Why
you
don't
can't.
You feel like you can't?
Because I've tried it that way, T. I've tried it. I am 15 years into this and trying to figure out how things spread. I can do that. However, it ain't going to pay the bills.
Yeah.
It ain't going to get us recognition, because you need recognition to get more money.
I guess so.
And so it's the catch-22, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Some people, they don't have to, right? The success of your next film, right? is judged on the success of your last,
yeah.
or the success of your last project is judged on your next project is judged on your last, right? And it's also why people pigeonhole artists, and they only want you to make one thing, and you switch it up, and now you can't because I liked it over here, right? That's like your favorite artist deciding, what's his name? It's Christian Scott deciding I'm not doing jazz no more.
Oh man, I'd be devastated.
But as an artist, why can't he?
That's his. I mean,
that's
his
but
right
he
to do.
Wouldn't.
But
he wouldn't because he got an audience.
Yeah.
So even if he got an audience.
But do you think there are times where you're not as imaginative and just free in your art because of these limitations, and because that's not going to sell, so we're not going to do that? Do those things cross your mind to where you do pull back because it might not get as many looks, or it's not the status quo and industry standard?
No, I don't really. I think what changes for us sometimes, depending on what we're doing, is knowing our audience, right? For our audience, like, I'm a believer. Unfortunately, Christians watch my. Unfortunately, all right, Christians watch my stuff. They will judge me according to how they judge the world, right? And so some things I'm not going to touch at this level in my life, right?
Because of the Christian audience.
Yeah, because of the Christian audience, right? Because I want to earn the right to make whatever I want to make, and you still love it, right? That's something you have to earn, right? But I splash it in, right? And I figure out what's the boundary, what's the limitation. But I think everything I've made so far, as far as what we made, is like what I wanted to make, right? Figuring out how to get it before more eyeballs, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And that's not something that I don't have the privilege. I don't have the privilege to spend 18 months on a project and then just say whoever sees it sees it.
Wow.
How I'm gonna recoup that money?
Yeah, I guess I'm on. But yeah, I'm just like, but are you making the stuff you really
I make everything,
want to?
Yeah, I don't care what these
and feel free in that, and not feel
I don't
like,
care.
well,
as far as that concerned.
Yeah.
You're gonna get what I love, right?
Yeah.
Because I only want to do projects. I only want people to do projects that they because you gotta, for us, we gotta want, like, I don't feel like hunting Tay down to go read a script. I'm gonna have to hunt him down anyway to fix this script, right? But I want him to be okay with being frustrated while doing it, because, it's hard and not easy, right? I think if, for example, like, I don't do music videos like that because I don't love them. Like, I really got to like the song.
Right. Yeah.
I really got to enjoy it to cut to a music video and hear that mug over and over. Yeah. So I don't do those anymore.
Okay.
Like,
and that's the majority
I do a little
of my
bit.
work. Yeah, like, especially when I'm working for other people, unless I'm, like, really into it, I can't do it. Not because, like, not even I want to, but it's just like, I definitely feel like I don't always give my best when I'm trying to bring other people's ideas to life versus just my own, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, unless I'm, like, really invested, or I kind of get it, I get your vision, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can see something there. And sometimes you have good collaborations, but then, yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that it's like, man, unless I feel it, I just don't do it. And
but that's what I was saying. Like, that's a privilege. Yeah, like, and everybody can't do that
because it's just me. So it's like,
I think that's a millennial Generation Z thing where we gotta like what we do.
Not always. I don't always. But that's something. It's just balance. I don't always
and I
like
think
what I do.
Yeah, and
for the majority,
as you get better at what you do, you then have that opportunity to be like, I'm not doing that.
But I also want to just be integral to the work and make sure that I am being authentic as well, and enjoying. God says, like, he gave us work to enjoy, and so I think if everything is about
what you think everybody's enjoying breaking up concrete and brick.
There are some people who do.
Yeah, but the majority of them don't.
That's fine. And
majority of them, they just skilled at it.
No,
not necessarily. See, that's that.
Some people.
That's
if
that
you
gotta
are
leave.
consistently unhappy with what you're doing, then you're probably doing the wrong thing. Like, if you're consistently
I think
showing
some part
up
of
to
the process, some part of the process is not joyous.
No, I'm saying it's not. But I'm saying if you are consistently, oh my God, I got to get up again and go here. Because that's how I felt when I was in programming, right? I was still making all this money. I had all these other things, but, like, going in there, I was like, oh my gosh, again? You know what I mean?
Would you have made the decision to leave if if you had children. And
I don't though, so I can't tell. I don't know. I'll never know that.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I think
I'm not good with hypotheticals because we're not gonna know. So why even think about it?
Well, no, we do know. We see things. I saw my mother go to jobs that she hated for years.
But she had a motive. She had another reason. I don't know that, so I can't say
she didn't have the privilege to just be like, oh, I just want to write.
Yeah.
Right. I think sometimes we have to be very careful that we are not always trying to lead from now you should enjoy what you do, some aspect of it, right? But at the same time, I think some of the things that I've done and jobs that I've had that I didn't like built the most character in me. That allowed me to do what I'm doing now, right? That allowed me to lead a school.
Right.
If I didn't have some really hard, I'm talking about get off the bus, and I've literally gotten off the bus and just dropped on my knees and worship because I hated this job so much. But Lord, this is my time to leave. What am I trying to learn? What are you trying to teach me from this? And I've had jobs that I went and I was like, Lord, we got to get up out of here.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think it's seasons. It's purpose. Mm-hmm. It's don't be controlled. Like I know we need to, like, you need eyes, right? But you should be so content with what you've created that regardless of what people say or do,
you just summed up everything I was saying.
No,
why
but
you fighting me? Because you believe it too. You just said exactly.
I think this is the difference between what we're saying. You just like drop off of it. Don't do it. Right? We need to
the behind the scenes reasons.
Right, for the behind the scenes, just change
I'm
it
just
all.
like rebel.
Yeah, you just like rebel. And I'm like, hold on, before you do that. Because I know some of y'all got Patreons and y'all, we wouldn't have the Kev on stages and the Jackie Hill Perry's and the Preston Perry's.
And people have been reaching out to us of how this podcast.
People are like, oh my gosh, this is good. Right? Yeah. So what I'm saying is, because you would live in a cabin. No, you wouldn't live in a cabin because you need to be by water. You would live in a beach house off to the sides in the outskirts with no internet if you could, right?
I would.
Everybody can't do that.
I know.
Right?
I get it.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Create what you want regardless of what people say and how they respond to it. If you're doing it from a place of purpose and you're doing it not for the likes and for the shares, well, no, please share my stuff because I'm doing it for the shares too. All right, I don't really care about your likes as much as I care about your shares. But do it, love it, but know that all of the process is not going to be something, right, that you enjoy or that will love you back. Because I had this conversation with my friend. My friend, she's a bomb writer, and her career is taking off, right? But she has this place that she wants to attain, right? And we were talking just about how sometimes the place we want to attain, we don't enjoy where we're at because we're trying to get here. Absolutely. And I'm like, dude, like, you killing it. Don't even matter. You're killing it, right? And so I think as we're all learning this stuff, sometimes you need to disengage. I really think people need to start deleting Instagram, Facebook, Twitter off their phone, post, delete, because I think we're just too complacent to what they're doing. I think that's going to change really soon because they're about to break up all these big tech companies, which we, you want the tech companies to stop doing some stuff, but at the same time, them not doing some stuff is going to change some of our.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to rewire.
It's very tricky. It's a very tricky thing, right? I think we should own our data. I don't think they should have control of our data. I think if you're gonna be using my data, I need to get paid for my data, right? That's something that we need. Like, all of this will change if everybody would just get paid for their data, right? Period. But I don't think everybody can jump off the cliff and just be like, I have 50,000 something followers and I just don't want to post unless I want to. Yeah. Right?
I mean, they don't. But, or people can.
Let me reactivate them for you.
Yeah, I mean, go for it. But, I think some people too are, all they think is if I post it online, that's it.
Agreed.
You don't do word of mouth. It's like when I did my art installation, even with all the followers I had, like, I was texting everybody in my phone. I was emailing people I knew. Like, you still have this word of mouth, and I think sometimes on the flip side, people think, oh, well, as long as I post 3 times a day, that like, nah, like you might have to still call some people and still
tweet,
go out. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Email, smoke screen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna text you a couple times. You're gonna tell me you don't want to be on my list.
Right.
Like,
and it makes you lazy. Like if you're selling a book, like find different book clubs. That's
why people's books and stuff don't sell. That's why you ain't getting no likes. You ain't putting no work into it.
Yeah.
You ain't getting no shares, and people
like
don't see it if you think because you just posting once and that don't even matter.
Right.
Because I post on some of our journals. Our interns post 3-4 times a day. It still don't matter. But that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother thing. My one cool thing for this week.
What's your cool
thing? Is these
cool
cool lights, these man lights. That was really fun. Figuring that out.
We were in money reside.
See, we ain't got no money, y'all. We ain't got no money. Don't believe what she's talking about.
She right.
We ain't got nothing. We just make it look good walking in faith.
Amen. And it looks good. You know, we're
you
happy.
The lights,
I'm happy.
Color.
I'm happy. Yeah.
You happy now?
I'm happy.
One cool thing.
One cool thing. I don't know. Maybe
your jumpsuit.
Oh, wait. Oh, I'm taking sewing classes.
Oh, there you go.
I am taking sewing classes, so I'm trying to get back into that. I used to sew when I was little, but yeah, now I'm I think we all should if we take anything from this podcast is learn a skill that doesn't require Wi-Fi. Get a skill that doesn't require Wi-Fi, just in case, y'all. Just in case. Learn how to farm or something.
I do vegetables and
I'm just find a skill that doesn't require Wi-Fi. So,
I'm Christina Faith. You can follow me at Christina Faith on Twitter and Instagram.
And I am a brilliant dummy. You can follow me
at a brilliant dummy.
I'm gonna start giving out my email, maybe. If I get off of online.
Oh yeah, well if you get off of online,
catch me on my IG story, y'all.
You can also follow us at Alotta Hats. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Don't forget to go to iTunes, Amazon, your cable or your satellite network, your TV.
Spotify.
Go and purchase Love You Right. Tell 10. Do me a favor. Text 10 friends and tell them to purchase Love You Right, an R&B musical. We love you guys. Have a great day.
Peace.